Hey, there's a new update, or few updates of the Blocker add-on. I will show you what the updates are. First I'll show you what was the add-on before the updates. So before the update we didn't have this, so I'll drag that down. So we could add a cube and then press these buttons over here like that. And then we can select this one and move them up. It's already pretty handy because you can duplicate multiple blocks at the same time. But now we can select one cube and then press Alt K and hover one face like that, and then we can add the block. And let me hide this one, hide that one. I select them all and I make one active, then I press join. And if I set the origin to the 3D cursor like that, then you see that we can now scale a bit, and that's pretty handy because the object won't disappear below the surface. So like that. Before we had pretty handy modifiers, but those are the Blender's built-in modifiers. So we can adjust shape. Let me add one material over here. I go back to the modifier and then you see I can adjust it. I can add another taper, but then this time I put it on bend and then you can bend like that. So, and if you then add a subsurf, you can make loads of different shapes. Still we can use those and still they are pretty useful. Let me delete all these. We had also truss, also interesting. So that will generate truss, and on top of that you can add a taper again, things like that. One other thing still pretty interesting, that's a shape generator. So you can make all kinds of shapes like that. Okay, but now we have loads of new modifiers, 51, and they are based on geometry nodes. I show you a few interesting ones. I cannot discuss them all in this video. Let me start with, so if you click on this thumbnail, you see modifiers here. One pretty interesting, that is the radial remesh. That is not, you have to read radial and then remesh. You see this is remeshed. So that happens in the geometry nodes. So you can go to geometry nodes over here, geometry node editor, and then you see the node setup. So if you are diving into geometry nodes and you want to learn some setups, you got here 51 setups. You can do that. Back to the modifier stack here. So I applied this modifier, and this one is for the remesh. I can turn remesh on or off. So I turn it off so it's a bit faster to work with this one. Let me go to maybe 3 or so, and then I can set the radius. Let me turn off the wireframe. Turn off the wireframe. I want to delete this plane so I can set the radius. You can make all kinds of shapes like that. This looks interesting, and then I can adjust the scale for in every axis for the shape. For the shape we had a while ago. Look, this is a shape. And we are adjusting the shape here. Alright, so now I turn back on the remesher you see the other settings here are for adjusting the voxels. So I want to put more density, I think, here. Alright, now you play with that. You can also add adaptivity. So if you go to wireframe, adaptivity, and then you see it like that. Let me apply that one. And then you can add, for example, smooth modifier, smooth it a few times, etc. Shade smooth. Oops, okay. Alright. Yeah, and you can still use all those modifiers. Alright. I want to show you a few more examples. So that was radial remesh, pretty exciting. Then I show you also this one. This one is also a nice modifier. So I turn down the subdivision, and then we got this. We can play around with all kinds of settings like that. Extrusion. You can apply it to many shapes. So I think if I add, maybe let's try it with the monkey. Let's see if that works. Grab X, a bit bigger. Apply the scale. Then I press Ctrl L, and then I link the materials, and I copy the modifiers. I see it like that. Yeah, so Cezanne has a little bit too much of polys. It works better on this that amount of low poly. Another one that is Extrude complex, also very nice. Extrude complex, this one. So let me turn off the wireframe. So it makes a dual mesh, and then we can play around with those settings. The default settings are pretty okay, but can play around with the settings here. You can decide if you want to have frames of holes in the quads or the triads, like that. So you can switch around. I like this more. Yeah, and if you apply that on Cezanne like that, scale it up, apply scale, and then copy modifier, we see it like this. Another one is round corners. So I need to explain that a little bit, because you see we made blocks like that, and it looks very blocky. What if you want to make it more round? So I have quite some modifiers for that, like merge verts, round corners. Those are all round corners one. Those are all algorithms to make the shape a bit more round and not that blocky. But round corners 2 works pretty nice. Let me turn off the subdivision, and we shade it flat so we can see we cannot do that. Okay, let's turn on wireframe then. So these are corners right here, and you can see you can scale them. You see it better with this one. So these are corners over here. This one, that one. Oh, sorry, this one. But if you turn on subdivision surface, turn off wireframe, then you have lots of modifier tools, or tools to modify the shape. Normally we didn't have this. We don't have a modifier like that. So you can, with all these modifiers, you can adjust the shape. Let me show you one more. So let me load the monkey. Wait, Shift A, M, there we got the monkey. Scale it up, apply, and give it a material like that. And let's add the subsurf, shade smooth, and then let's go to, I have snow. You can play around with the snow like that. So you can play with the density like that, and the thickness even thicker than that. And the voxel amount, I think I'm going to turn it down so the snow is not that blobby. Yeah, like that. But I turn on the thickness so we can play around with those settings and see what is the best. And you can decimate if you want. So then I apply all. If you go inside, you press P, and now you have the snow a separate object. And if you add a smooth modifier, tiny bit, and then you apply, let me turn on, where's, oh yeah, here. Well, I don't have a snow material, but I think I can use stucco maybe. That works maybe a little bit like snow. To turn up. Not really, but you get the gist. If you add nice snow modifier, snow material. All right, I just show you a few more. Maybe 4 more of these modifiers. There's also the a panelizer. That's this one. That works also cute. So we can turn on dual mesh. This is on, this is off. Dual mesh on, and that works actually nice with many other objects. For example, let's try a gem, for example. So, and then I want to have a panelizer on that. So here I can, just what you want to triangulate. Subdivision. Scale the panels like that. and extrusion. Pretty nice. So next one is, yeah, this is also nice. Let me see if I can manage that. I will delete this, delete that. So I go to curve and then curve, what is a spiral? No, knots. Yeah, maybe this one. Wait, no, how does that work? So I go over here. Think not the radius, the thickness, no, the width. Let me check from top view. Sides a bit less, 3 maybe. Oh yeah, this looks okay. Then I have that. I'm going to my curve and then geometry. There must be bevel somewhere, like that. Let me check the density. That's pretty dense. So I want to have that less, like this. And like that maybe. Yeah, let's do this. So, and then I convert it to mesh. Mesh. Then we go over here. We're going to make some holes. So yeah, I made this. Well, to make this some hole a bit smaller. Extrusion a bit less. Oh, that's a mass extrusion. Then the holes like that. I made that before. That's pretty nice. So here you see a few renders. So this one. And this one has a few modifiers, so those are frames. I will show you this one as well. That one. Yeah, you can make that all with the Blocker Addon. Next one, waveform dual. Yeah, I just show a few more. So we have this one. Control Z. I select the object, go here. I got a crash. Yeah, that happens sometimes when you Control Z is quite sensitive, I think. Not specifically for this add-on, but I notice it happens sometimes. Then oh yeah, you can have, for example, that one turns every object into stones. You need to apply a better material for that. Let me check. I have a material here. Alright, I have to define that in. Oh. Yeah, it doesn't work in this case because let me see. Alright, so yeah, so you can look at node groups. I show you a workflow of the rusty metal. Let me see that. So this block. So that's my workflow when I make assets. So I block out here with that, and I add some modifiers. Here I have the radial and then remesh, radial remesh. I play around with the settings and then I do decimate. Then unwrap it. In this case I use the UV Pack Master. And then I make some masks with the Eevee Production Suite. In the Eevee Production Suite you have the material nodes add-on, and this all is included to make masks and add these kind of shaders. So I adjust the shaders like that. And then I'm looking for a good light setup. So that's also the Eevee Production Suite. Let's move on a bit. So I'm looking for different kinds of lights. I tried out several ones. In this case was a bit hard to find a good one. But this light setup looks pretty nice for that object. And then you can adjust all the lights separately. You see, I don't switch much screens. Yeah, well, I'm going to the compositor right now, and in the Eevee Production Suite you see all kinds of presets you can add. Alright, so I will add a link in the description. So that is then the Blocker Addon. You see some documentation here. I didn't provide yet the documentation for all these node setup, so it's more a matter of clicking on it and see if it is useful for you, and play around with those settings. Maybe later I add documentation of all the modifiers, but that's a lot of work. Alright, no, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.